Hi everyone, it's Melissa, and this week I'm going to do my video a little bit differently than normal. So, I'm going to experiment a bit with kind of a more vloggy style, and we'll see how that goes. So, first of all, I hope you are all safe and well. So, I haven't mentioned on my channel the whole COVID-19 situation because I had pre-recorded those videos, so I thought I would just mention it here in case you were wondering why I hadn't mentioned it. I don't think I'll talk about it again just because I personally come to BookTube and YouTube in general to get away from that stuff. So I'll just mention it briefly now. My family is all safe and isolated at home. So one of the reasons I wanted to change up my video style this week is that I need to get outside daily for my mental health in normal circumstances, and especially now that we're at home most of the time and isolated, it's especially helpful for me. So because I'm spending a lot of time outside and I am super fortunate to have a nice little wooded backyard with a stream, I thought I would share some of that with you. And I wanted to share some recommendations throughout the week of different like comfort reads or things that I think a lot of us will be turning to, and give you some recommendations of books that might be nice to read right about now. So I think what I'll do for the week is bring you along outside with me and give you some recommendations as they come to my head. So it's technically spring, and we had actually been enjoying some warmer weather recently. Big patches of snow had melted. We brought out the sidewalk chalk, but I woke up this morning to some snow. So we were just out building a snowman and enjoying what hopefully is winter's last hurrah. So I think the first thing I would recommend for a good comfort read is just rereading, returning to an old favorite. So I would love you to share with me some of your old favorites. Put it in the comments below, and I'd love to check them out. So I'm towards the end of middle grade March right now, so I read a lot of middle grade books this month, and it's reminded me that middle grade can be a really good comfort read as well. They're just usually really wholesome tales of adventure, you know? So I'll be doing a wrap up on my middle grade reads in a week or two. So if you want to know my thoughts on some new middle grades that I've been reading, you can check that out. But in the meantime, I think I'll just recommend three good old standbys: the Harry Potter series, the Chronicles of Narnia, and Anne of Green Gables. So I think everyone pretty much knows what those books are about, but in case not, um, Harry Potter is about a 10-year-old boy who discovers he's a wizard and is whisked off to a magical school for wizards. The Chronicles of Narnia are about a group of siblings who discover a portal, I guess, in a wardrobe and get whisked away to a magical world called Narnia where they have to defeat the White Witch. And Anne of Green Gables is about a 10-year-old orphan girl who gets adopted and is whisked off to a farm on Prince Edward Island. So for me, another great type of comfort read are books that are funny or maybe a little bit absurdist. So there are two that come to mind. The first is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. It is about a tragically drab and average person named Arthur Dent who accidentally escapes the destruction of Earth by extraterrestrial bureaucrats and goes gallivanting around the universe, even when he really doesn't want to. It's very much fish out of water, super funny. And the other book or books that come to mind are the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett. So there's, I think, like 40 some odd books in this series, so lots of options. The great thing is that they all take place on the same world, but they do not have to be read in order. I know a few that are kind of follow a story or have the same characters, but they can be read out of order. For example, the first two books are sequential. They're written in such a way that it wouldn't matter if you read the second one first. But a lot of the Discworld novels are also standalone, and you could start with the 27th book, it doesn't matter. And if you're unfamiliar, they're fantasy novels set on a flat earth, so like a disc, Discworld, and that disc rests on the backs of 4 elephants, who rest on the back of a giant tortoise or turtle, doesn't matter, who is basically just like swimming through space. And it follows many different eccentric characters. Like I said, it's a fantasy series, but very absurdist and just really a nice, fun read. Today I'm going to share a couple of suggestions for books with a bit of romance. So I will say that I'm not a fan of the romance genre, and I don't really even care for romance in novels a lot of the times, generally speaking. But I do have 2 books in mind that have kind of like non-cheesy, non-steamy romance elements. The first one is Captain Corelli's Mandolin by, I might have to link it below. I think the author is Louis de Bernières. I think that sounds right. So it is set on a Greek island during World War II, during the Italian and German occupation / invasion of that island. It follows a young woman. She is the daughter of the doctor on this island, and she's engaged to someone else. I think he might be a soldier, I can't remember. But she ends up falling in love with one of the Italian soldiers. So it is a book that I found really both heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time. It has a lot of tragic, sad parts to it, but I just remember a generally warm, fuzzy feeling while reading it. The other book I would recommend is The Princess Bride by, I've forgotten that author's name as well. This is what happens when I don't have notes in front of me. I will link that below as well. So I think a lot of people are probably familiar with this because of the movie adaptation. And I will say that I prefer the movie to the book, but I don't know if that's in part because I grew up with it, so maybe there's a bit of nostalgia there. But the book is still good, and there's a lot more things that happen in the book that had to be cut, of course, from the movie, so you get to spend more time with different characters. So if you're unfamiliar with The Princess Bride, it features a whole cast of very eccentric characters. It's an adventure fairy tale, I guess you could say, and it follows Buttercup, who falls in love with the farmhand Wesley. He goes off and is captured by pirates. Everyone thinks he's dead, so Buttercup, in her sorrow, ends up getting engaged to the Prince Humperdinck. However, Wesley is alive, and he has come back to save Buttercup from the evil Prince Humperdinck. So another great option for a lighter read that can be nice and distracting, I think, are like detective stories where you can really get engrossed trying to solve the mystery. I am partial to Dashiell Hammett. My favorite novel of his is The Maltese Falcon. So this follows a private eye, Sam Spade. This woman hires him and his partner to tail someone, I think. It's been a while since I read it. But essentially, Sam's partner ends up dead, and I think the person that they're tailing also ends up dead. And Spade becomes a suspect in the case and then gets kind of sucked into the deeper underbelly of what's really going on. And there's a falcon statuette at the center of this mystery. Another good detective story by Dashiell Hammett is The Thin Man. I remember this one less, but I think it involves a body that is discovered under really unusual circumstances. I can't really remember much, but you really can't go wrong with a good mystery. An Agatha Christie or a Sherlock Holmes, just something where you can really dive in. So we're coming up on the end of the week, so I think I am going to end the video here. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that wherever you are safe, that you are able to get outside and get some fresh air if it is safe to do so where you are. And I will talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye.